What is happening, everybody? Hello and welcome. In today's video, I'm going to be checking out Lorde's brand new album, Virgin. Now, I've heard a couple singles, definitely intriguing stuff. Hasn't completely sold me on the album yet, but maybe this full album reaction might change my tune, but I'm definitely excited to get to it. And recently, I just found out about the album covers. The first one is not so bad. It's this X-ray version of her pelvic area. You can see her IUD. Little strange, a little odd, but hey, whatever, I'm not here to judge. Now the second one, I almost didn't believe. I thought somebody was pulling my leg because no more than 2 weeks ago, we're re-dragging poor dear Sabrina Carpenter through the mud. She was a devil. She was setting women back 50 years. Everybody and their mother was coming for Sabrina. To me, it was so strange because Sabrina's entire brand is, it's sexy, it's fun, it's cool, it's sarcastic, and it's funny. That's like her whole thing, all wrapped up in a cute little package. Obviously, there's gonna be so many sarcastic undertones with this album, and I can't wait to dive in. Lorde came to the scene and she's like, oh, you guys think Sabrina's crazy? She came out and she has these like see-through pants. They're like see-through. They're like, you know what, like you put sandwiches in, those Ziploc bags and stuff like that? She's got a pants made out of that. That's what our pants are. So you can see everything. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I wasn't ready. I feel slightly violated. I feel like this is probably what women feel like when they get an unsolicited dick pic. And before we move on, I do want to state something for the record, because I don't want to be taken out of context here. I'm no prude, all right? I've seen a vagina before. They're pretty neat. But in my generation, we didn't send dick pics. You know, we had like flip phones and stuff, so it would have been like 4 pixels anyway. So I kind of missed that whole phenomenon. And I don't think my wife wants one. You know, I think if I was to send her one, she'd be like, why? what am I supposed to do with this? Now it's on my phone. Now it's in the net, and like Jeff Bezos has, like everybody's got a piece of it. What is it doing out there? So nobody's ever wanted a dick pic from me. My wife doesn't want one I mean, I'm right here. You know, but I just wanted to put that out there that I'm not like pro dick pic or anything. I mean, if you're down for that sort of thing, I think dudes are lining up to give them out, you know, but like the whole like doing this channel and stuff, like I study lighting and cameras and lenses and angles, and I try to make myself not look as, you know, schlubby as I normally do. I try to make everything look as professional as possible. So I can't imagine, like, what would I need to do to like set up to do like the perfect dick pic like picture, you know? Like how do you set a scene? I would definitely light some candles. There would be some roses. I'm thinking in the background, we need some sort of like sheer, like those curtains, like sheer ones that are all classy and stuff. I'm definitely gonna want to do a wide angle lens. I think a wide angle lens is probably best for those kind of pictures because you wanna beef stuff up, you know? And a wide angle lens will definitely help with that sort of thing. On the flip side of things, if you're working with some sort of like chode thing, you might wanna do like a more narrow 35 millimeter. Let's just fucking do the album.
There's a heat in the pavement, my mercury's raising. Don't know if it's love or if it's ovulation. When you're holding a hammer, everything looks like a nail. The mist from the fountain is kissing my neck. The liquid crystal is in my grip. Anyone with a snake tongue, I'll show them the chambers of my heart. Now I know you don't deal much in love and affection, but I really do think there could be a connection. I burn and I sing and I scheme and I dance. Some days I'm a woman, some days I'm a man. Oh, I might have been born again. I'm ready to feel like I don't have the answers. There's peace in the madness over our heads. Let it carry me. Today I'm going to Canal Street. They're piercing my ears. I'm making a wish when the needle goes in. Take an aura picture, read it and tell me who I am. Show me who now I know you don't deal much in love and affection, but I really do think you could make an exception. It's a beautiful life, so I played truant. I took tears and they paid me to do it. Oh, I might have been born again. I'm ready to feel like I don't have the answers. There's peace in the madness over our heads. Let it carry me. your head is a phantom. Been to hell and back, but I've sent you a postcard from the edge. The edge.
Interesting. All right, first track on this album is called Hammer. And if I had to guess just off of the first track, and if you're new around here, I often say this, the first track and the last track are the most important tracks on an album. How does an album start? How does it finish? Is there any cohesion? Is there any fluidity to any of this? And if I had to guess what this first track is about, and possibly leaning into what the rest of the album is about, it's about some sort of transformation. She seems to be doing things that you would do when you're almost a child, like piercing her ears in the city. She seems to be embracing some sort of massive change, and even talks about love and affection, and maybe learning to re-embrace that as well. What else is she talking about? Oh, the change between, she doesn't know if she's a man or a woman. I think that she's kind of like rediscovering herself. I think she's at this phase in her life, or not phase, this like turning point in her life where she's starting to like step back and be like, you know, maybe it's okay to be wrong. Maybe it's okay not to have all the answers. Maybe it's okay not to be on top. Maybe I just need to find myself and discover more about me. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. In fact, I really think that's a cool message. Now, it's executed in a very interesting way sonically, and it does tie together with the other two singles as well, with having more abrasive tones. And only having this sense of relief as we get to the climax of the song. That's when we finally get some harmonies. That's when we finally get some chord structure. Everything else is a little scattered, and it's that way by design. The tempo, obviously, it has like a sense of mania. There's a real sense of tension and almost like this excitement and a touch of hesitation. But tension, I think, is really how you feel mostly through the song. And that's due to the staccato-esque bass lines. But there are some cool anchor points in the song that kind of keep some sort of natural beauty to all of this. Those light chimes in the background, little bells or piano. I think it's more of a bell than piano. You don't really hear it until we get towards the end of the track, once we get to the more analog style synth mixed together with those bells and everything. Interesting phrasing on this one as well. She would be within the confines of what a natural bar progression would be, but then she'll stop, like right over here. Yeah, right here, listen to this.
Anyone with a snake tongue, I'll show them the chambers of my heart.
You see what I mean? She kind of goes off it a little bit there. Like it falls in lines with like a melody. And once you start to get comfortable with like her basic progression or melody, she does kind of change it up a little bit. And it doesn't exactly fall off beat or off melody. It just goes in the half step there for a second. It's a little jarring, especially what you might come to expect from pop music that might be a little bit more digestible. There's a great sense of tension to this. There's a sense of excitement to it. I think it's about transformation. I think it's about her coming to terms with herself in some kind of way, and it just like almost even forgiving herself and embracing what is about to happen. Take in a raw picture and read it and tell me who I am. Do you guys know what I think they're called auras? Maybe R is something else, or that's just how it's spelled. Auras are weird. I get a little experience with that for people that like study like things of that nature, but I've done it before. You go against like a wall that's like white or gray or a light colored wall, and someone basically just looks at you. So they look at you and they kind of squint their eyes. And I guess anybody can do this. Anybody can be an aura reader. And they squint their eyes, and around the edges of your body is going to have certain colors, your aura. And those certain colors, I guess, are red and have symbolism and mean certain things. I forget what mine meant. I think it said something to the effect of, oh yeah, you're a complete badass. Yeah, she's talking about being born again. I'm ready to feel like I don't have the answers. There's peace and there's madness over my head. I think this is, yeah. I think it's about letting go. I think it's about a cycle of rebirth. I think it's about a cycle of embracing yourself. And yeah, I think it's a pretty positive message. All right, this next one is called What Was That? And my reaction to this is on YouTube or Patreon. It's somewhere out there on the internet. So if you want to see it, check out either of those sites. But let's dive a little bit deeper.
A place in the city, a chair and a bed. I cover up all the mirrors. I can't see myself yet.
Oh yeah, this is the one where I talked about doing drugs for like 20 minutes.
Smoke like a wedding veil. Make a meal I won't eat. Step out into the street, alone in a sea. It comes over me, or I'm missing you. Yeah, I'm missing you and all the things we used to do. MDMA in the back garden, blow our pupils up. We kissed for hours straight, well baby, what was that? I remember saying then, this is the best cigarette of my life. Well, I want you just like that. Into your hairs, we're in a sandstorm and it knocks me out. I didn't know then that you'd never be enough. Oh, since I was 17, I gave you everything. Now we wake from a dream. Well, baby, what was that? What was that? Baby, what was that? Do you know you're still with me when I'm out with my friends? I stare at their painted faces that talk current affairs. You had to know this was happening. You weren't feeling my heat when in the blue light down, baby, so bright I face reality. I tried to let whatever has to pass through me, pass through. But this is staying a while. I know it might not let me go. MDMA in the back garden, blow our pupils up. We kissed for hours straight, well baby, what was that? I remember saying then, this is the best cigarette of my life. Well, I want you just like that. Into your hairs, we're in a sandstorm and it knocks me out. I didn't know then that you'd never be enough. Oh, since I was 17, I gave you everything. Now we wake from a dream. Oh baby, what was that? What was that? 'Cause I want you just like that. Blue light, I can make it alright. What was that? Blue light, I can make it alright.
Does her no favors.
Baby, what was that?
All right, so as I said, I have heard this song. I do have a full reaction video to this song, going in blind, and just, I think this was the first single on the album, and I think we all kind of were a little shook. We were all wondering what the hell was going on. Cool video, interesting song for sure, and I'm not going to talk about too much of the production side of things or lyrics or about what I think it is about, because I think I explained it pretty well on that first video that I did. Again, it's available on Patreon or YouTube. It's somewhere out there. But I do want to talk about the fluidity from track 1 to track 2 here, because the sense of hesitation is definitely still there. The tones that we're getting are distorted or overdriven. Sounds like some sort of modulated guitar almost on what is the accent harmony or the main hook point, which you're kind of looking for. The beat mapping is, again, very fast-paced, very kind of Maniac-esque. So there is this sense of like tension and excitement, and somehow they mix in the middle. I like the fact that the anchor point is that really nice, warm, round bass line, since everything else feels a little bit more mechanical or a little bit more electronic. I think vocally, she doesn't really do herself too many favors on this one, and there are a couple instances that I don't think I caught or talked about in my first initial reaction to this song, where she distorts her voice in a way that muddies the sound up completely, especially towards the end there. She's using a flange effect, which is very odd. It's a very deliberate effect choice to be using on your voice. And normally when you're using an effect like that, it's with isolated vocals and you don't have anything else going on, because there's a certain almost like wet phasing effect to that effect on your voice. And it can very easily muddy up the sound, and it absolutely did on this track. But I think that's there as a point of tension. I think that's there to make you feel a little bit uneasy. Just like in the first track, how she went off the bar a little bit. She went off of time, just that slight bit. I think she's trying to push the envelope a little bit here, and really question what exactly is music? Does it have to follow these rules that we're all so accustomed to? Well, I guess the answer to that is no, it doesn't, but it doesn't mean it has to be good if you don't. So I don't know. I think we're gonna wait and see how it all ties together. Is tension gonna be a main focus through this album? Do we have any moments of levitivity? You know, where does it go? This sounds like an exciting moment. She was out with her friends, doing some drugs, smoking cigarettes, ripping butts, just fucking ripping them.
Chewing gum, I know, don't have a sour taste that's in my throat, but the voice in my head says, do you have the stones? When you get close enough, I let down my braids, and you climb up in my room. We can't do anything you want. Everyone that I've slept with, all the pairs of hands, I'm reckless. If I'm not without it,
There she is.
why gotta stop? Everything I want speeding up my pulse. I don't sleep, don't dream at all. Giving nothing personal, so I'm not affected. I've been the ice, I've been the flame, I've been the prize that bore the chain, I've been the dice, the magic game, so I'm not affected. I've been the siren, been the saint, I've been the fruit that leaves a stain, I've been up on the pedestal, but tonight I just wanna fall. Tonight I just wanna fall. Yeah, tonight I just wanna fall. Mirror on a shirt, I see a hot mess in an antique skirt, but the voice in my head says, don't let him leave alone. I become hurricane, visions of a teenage innocence. How'd I shift shape like that? Everyone that I've slept with, all the metal that I've messaged. If I'm not without it, why gotta stop? Everything I want speeding up my pulse. I don't sleep, don't dream at all. Giving nothing personal, so I'm not affected. I've been the ice, I've been the flame, I've been the prize that bore the chain, I've been the dice, the magic game, so I'm not affected. I've been the siren, I should say, I've been the fruit that changes. I've been up on the pedestal, but tonight I just wanna fall. Yeah, tonight I just wanna fall. Yeah, tonight I just wanna fall. I'll kick you out and
Oh my God, I was so worried because of the singles, because of the harsh nature, because of how like, scattered and discombobulated everything was, because of the muddy sound, because of the random talks of just like going out and doing drugs and having a good time. I was so worried about this album. But 3 tracks in, I can confidently say right now that I think this is a growth album. I think it is. I think it's about transformation. I think it's about meditating on self. I think it's about looking at yourself, taking a hard look and seeing cycles and learning how to break them, or wondering why you can't break them, because at this point, she's definitely in a cycle. And she's numb to it all because she's been through it all. She's been the flame, she's been the chain, she's been the ice, she's seen it all, she's done it all. She's had her highs, she's had her lows, but there's still some things that she can't get out of her system. It's honest, it's poignant. Yeah, here we go. Okay, this is a Lorde I was missing. Look, the fun pop songs are fun when they're fun pop songs, but Lorde's fun pop songs, like they're kind of dark, you know, they're kind of dark and they're ominous and they're heavy and they're kind of eerie and they're, you know, a little spooky. Lorde gets a little spooky on you. This here, especially on track 3, I think is absolutely brilliant. We've been building tension. We've been building this fear, this like uncertainty to everything. Everything's been so manic, and not to say that this is not manic, but like we're touched with more organic, some more warmth. We finally have some beauty behind the beast of all of this, and that to me is very exciting. God damn. All right, that so far, by far, this is my absolute favorite track. It feels like she's actually taking a hard look inward and at least recognizing that she needs to change or wants to grow. And I think that's what she's looking at. She's looking in the mirror and she's saying, I need a change. I need to fix some things in my life. And I love music that does this. Taylor Swift does this a lot. Well, she'll take a look inward and, you know, she'll profile her own life and everything. And I love talking about that sort of thing because it's not something you hear in music very often. There's too many black and white stories. There's not enough gray area, and life is all about the gray. And learning stuff like this and actually looking honestly at yourself and trying to grow from something is not something people often even want to do. Nevertheless, actually talk about and put things out and be vulnerable like this. Finally, oh my God, I was scared because I really enjoyed some of her previous projects and I thought they were profound in their own way. I loved it. I love the slight cinematics to it. The beats were cool too. The mapping is all over the place in this one. It has like an essence of like almost like 8-bit type of sounds, you know, where it's really grimy and gritty and everything. But then it also like kind of phases into more organic. So it has a nice little contrast. But when the organics come in, like it still has like almost like an essence of like breakbeat to it, you know, so it kind of keeps the momentum and everything moving forward. But when we're touched with that warm bass, when we're touched with the beautiful vocals, when we're touched with those organics, like it's a moment of levity for us. And I am fucking here for it. Shapeshifter, my favorite track so far. Oh, this is main of the year. I also have a video out for this one as well, but we're gonna go through it just for fluidity's sake.
Gliding through on my bike, gliding through like new from my recent ego death.
Apparently, like duct tape on your boobs doesn't hurt as bad to take it off. People do it all the time, apparently.
Violent, sweet music.
It's like called bracing or something.
You met me at a really strange time in my life. Take my knife and I cut the cord. My babe can't believe I've become someone else, someone more like myself. Who's gonna love me like this? Who could give me like this? Let it flow down.
I've always liked this one more than What Was That.
Now I'm broken up. Now I go about my day, riding it like a wave, playing it any way I want. Switch mouthwash, jerk off. Days go by in a haze.
I missed that.
Who's gonna love me like this? Who could give me like this? Where he flow down through me, love me like this. Now I'm broken open. Let's hear it for the man of the year.
It's just so different than everything else in pop music right now. We might be also in a linear album here as well, whereas like we actually have a linear story or kind of unfolding. You know, we start off, things are manic. She meets somebody, they do some drugs together. It seems like they're doing well. Something happens. She has this moment of like clarity where she wants to change and like move on and like take a hard look at herself and reinvent herself. And we move on to obviously what I think is a breakup over here. And then also sonically, texturally, like things have also been morphing and they've been swelling, most importantly. Like it's been a swell, it's been a build, a slow crawl. It starts off like in this really thin way. And as it continues, like it just widens way up and it just adds that layer of intensity. She has these moments, like these little things that happen that are like so minute in the details that I appreciate. Like when you get that distorted guitar on the first time that it comes in, once it cuts right out because it has a heavy cutoff on the attack, you just hear like this faint little minor note on the piano. So it's like this contrast, this Beauty and the Beast kind of thing going on. Like it feels like there's something circling, there's something happening, there's something swelling, and it feels pretty linear so far. So I guess in the context of listening to the singles as they're laid out here on the album, it definitely makes more sense than just seeing random music videos that make no sense outside of what all of this is. So I applaud her at least on that.
I was a singer, you were my fan, when no one gave a damn. It was you in the dark, scared of your anger, in love with your whim. Some notes I don't hit, but I don't give up. Now every day the plane takes off, and every night the room fills up with people who are convinced I'm not just some kid faking it for your love. Cause I'm an actress, all of the medals I won for ya, breaking my back just to be your favorite daughter. Everywhere I run, I'm always running to ya, breaking my back just hoping you'll say I'm a star. You had a brother, I look like him. You told us as kids he died of a broken heart. And for every door you open, there's a room I can't go in. I'm breaking, I still can't find you. Now that every day the plane takes off, and every night the room fills up, I tell myself that soon we'll talk. Then I sing every word just to ya. Cause I'm an actress, all of the medals I won for ya. Panic attack just to be your favorite daughter. Everywhere I run, I'm always running to ya, breaking my back to carry the weight of your heart. But I keep dancing till I get sick. Why'd you have to dream so big? Why did no one listen when you hit the notes from your heart? I'm a good actress. Look at the medals I won for ya, so you could imagine being their favorite daughter. Everywhere I run, I'm always running to ya, breaking my back just to be as brave as my mother.
Okay, this one might be a little bit harder to dissect here. It seems like some sort of turbulent family environment here. Starting off with her being a singer and you were her fan. it makes me think like it's her. She's talking about her first fan, which was probably her mother or father. She's talking about being an actress and bending over backwards to like be the favorite daughter or trying to live up to some sort of expectations and not always succeeding, and kind of, I suppose, the troubles of just trying to be that perfect person for the family. Just some kid faking it for your love. Like, okay, so this kind of breaks my heart if that's what's happening here. Like she feels like she has to go above and beyond and win medals and be like this extravagant character to win the love of her family, which is really sad to think about. But if that's what this is, like, I mean, it's a deep, intimate look on the inside here for her. And again, it's raw. If that's what this is, it's raw. Panic attack just to be your favorite daughter. I don't know if she's got sisters or brothers or something. Maybe there's some competition there. I'm the firstborn in my family, so it's just a given that I'm the favorite. It's just how it goes with siblings. The first one's always the best, and everything else just progressively gets worse. So I've never had to worry about that. Always just being number one myself. But I would imagine, like, you know, secondborns and thirdborns and stuff like that, you probably have to deal with some shit. And I feel for you. Getting kind of indie.
I felt it hit. Stood in the park under the eclipse. It was only a field trip till it cooled my blood. That's how it tends to start. You're in the light, then you're in the dark. Then someone throws a flare. You tasted my underwear. I knew we were fucked. My bed is on fire. Mama, I'm so scared. Don't know how to come back. Once I get out on the edge, you spit in my mouth like he's saying a prayer. But now I'm crying on the phone, swearing nothing's wrong. Blame it on
Everybody needs to apologize to Sabrina Carpenter right now. Stop this video, go to her video, say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Sabrina. You're not pushing us back 50 years. You were tame all along. Lorde's out here talking about dudes eating her underwear and spitting in her mouth. Cheese and crackers. I guess. That's kind of cool.
All alone in my room, watching the tape of their honeymoon. On the boat, it was pure and true. Then the film came out. Hope that we can't ignore voices we hear through the open door. Would you dive to the ocean floor just to take my pearl? My bed is on fire. My bed is on fire. Mama, I'm so scared. Mama, I'm so scared. Will you ever like this? Will you ever like this? Once you went out on the edge, she spit in my mouth like he's saying a prayer.
Oh, well, good he's a Christian. Well, maybe not. Maybe anything, yes.
Swearing nothing's wrong. Blame it on But
intimacy.
now I'm high enough to know. Yeah, I think he's gonna blame it on current affairs. Current affairs. Current affairs.
Okay. A little shocking, yeah, for sure. But this is honestly, so far, out of everything I've heard, I think my first or second favorite. And as shocking as some of this can be, my theory is also that it might be more shocking than we even think it is. I think this is her talking about her losing her virginity. How crazy is that? Because she talks about losing control. She talks about being scared and like going for her mother, you know, calling for her mother, knowing that things are going to go too far. But the sexual angle of all this is not like a sweet story. You know what I mean? It's not like what you think like losing your virginity is. And I guess it's different for everybody. But like, I know like when I was losing my virginity, like I wasn't trying to like eat underwear and spit in people's mouths and stuff. But maybe that's just current affairs. Maybe that's what kids are doing nowadays. I don't know. Crazy ass people out there, what the fuck y'all doing? What's wrong with missionary, you sick fucks? But no, I think that's what it is. And it's kind of somber and it's scary and she's afraid of losing herself. But yeah, I think that's what this is about. And I think obviously the relationship didn't last and she's crying on the phone. Or maybe the relationship did last and she's just hurt or she's just traumatized from this experience. He's saying he's a prayer. Okay, so I thought I was kind of listening. I wasn't reading that. I thought he was praying. I'm like, all right, well, at least he's, you know, he's saying he's a prayer, like she was wishing for him. I feel like this is some sort of like horrible, early botched sexual experience. And I would imagine it'd be traumatizing for anybody, especially if it was one of your first and things just got like this kind of crazy. You know what I mean? Voices we hear through the open door. That leads me to believe like they were young too, still living at home or something. You know, maybe the parents are downstairs or something, or the family's running around and this is happening. I think that's what this is. I think this is a mission of the loss of her virginity. Yeah, so in that angle, yeah, definitely a little disturbing, a little bit dark, but honestly, the execution is beautiful in this one. A slight cinematics were beautiful. Had kind of a cool indie vibe there in the beginning. There was tension to it. There was a little bit of excitement to it, but it wasn't as dark sonically as everything we've gotten so far. But the lyrics just fucking, they made up for it. Stood in the park under the eclipse. It was only a field trip till it cooled my blood. That's how it tends to start. Okay, so I think she's starting to fall for this person. She thinks like, yeah, she was young. She's on a field trip. She fell for this person. Her blood went cold. She knew she was going to take it too far. They had some sort of like wild sexual experience in a family home, hearing people walking around. Things got out of control to the point that she's praying for her mother or begging for her mother and she's crying on the phone and this guy just thinks he's the man. Yeah, this just sounds like some kind of horrible experience.
After the ecstasy, testing for pregnancy, praying in MP3. I'm scared to let you see into the whole machine, leave it all on the field. Your metal detector hits my precious treasure. I'm nobody's daughter, yeah, baby, I'm free, I'm free.
Nobody's daughter.
Free, I'm free. But deep in my matter, you're changing my patterns. Your helix is right through me. Bars on my windows, you busting wide open till clearness is all I see. I try letting the answer be part of the dances. I trip and I stumble, yeah, baby, I'm free, I'm free.
Is this all a cappella?
I'm free.
Okay, I believe this is probably going to be all a cappella. I mean, the song's only 2 minutes long and we're halfway through it right now. So I'm just going to make a couple notes right now because there are some interesting things happening here. There's been a lot of talk about her not really struggling with identity, but like questioning it. She talks about being a man, being a woman, and she's mentioned that several times in her songs. And I've been talking a little bit about the flange, and it's more of a phaser actually that's on her voice and less of a flange, but it still kind of has that basic effect. It's just one's less wet. Anyway, what I'm trying to get at here is when you use that effect there, you can lower the register of your voice so it sounds more masculine, or you can bring it up a notch as well and make it sound more feminine as well and give it more of a falsetto vibe. Here, it seems like she has her natural tone, but underneath it all, there is a sense of like, there's a deeper tone, a sense of like masculinity to this. And she's done this in a couple songs as well, where I felt it's kind of muddied the mix, but now I'm starting to feel like it was deliberate in a way to kind of emphasize the point of multiple people trying to like come out of her or not like finding the person that she is, or she's grasping at personalities or something. But anyway, let's get back to the song.
Lips round your halo, you asked where I came from. I lied and then I came clean. There's broken blood in me, it passed through my mother, from her mother down to me. I feel you answer my hips.
Generational trauma?
rode you till I cried. How's it feel being this alive? Where did it go? Wish I kept the clear blue. I'd remember how it feels to be so buried the throes. Oh, wish I'd kept the clear blue. I'd remember how it feels to be.
All right, this is going to be another tough one to unpack. I've got several theories on this one. We've got a full-on a cappella track smack dab in the middle of this album. She talks about pregnancy. She talks about some sort of variation of generational trauma here. Again, speaking of yourself as a daughter and mother, so maybe it has some sort of family dynamic to this as well. Yeah, I think she's talking about being young, praying to the music, not feeling connected to her mother, dreaming of freedom, something to do with some kind of generational trauma. She might be talking about a child or like fertility or something. There's broken blood in me. It passed through my mother, from her mother down to me. I feel you answer, my hips moving faster. I rode you till I cried. Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think she's like, I think her family might have trouble conceiving children and she's like thinking the same thing or something. I don't know. I could be wildly wrong on this one. I don't know what a clear blue is. Maybe a pregnancy test? Maybe that's what like, they can be blue, right? I'm just going to apologize to you guys right off the bat. I'm probably butchering this. It could be about so many different things, but first reaction to all of this and trying to piece it together, that's what I get. I think it's generational trauma through some sort of family dynamic, and possibly that family dynamic is that they might have some difficulty conceiving.
Soap, washing him off my chest, keeping it light, not on. Thinking it, jumping from stone to stone in the riverbed, I guess. Maybe you finally know who you wanna be. A grown woman in a baby tea, a grown woman. Girl's a grown woman. Wide hips, tooth chip, 96, skin scar, looking forward. Wide hips, soft lips, my mama's trauma, since 96, been looking for a grown woman.
I think I'm onto something here.
A grown woman.
Love the
Pink galaxy, left undressed. 2009, me be so impressed, so impressed. Back when the stolen spirits went straight to the head. Maybe you finally know who you wanna be. A grown woman in a baby tea, a grown woman. Girl's a grown woman. Wide hips, tooth chip, 96, skin scar, looking forward. Wide hips, soft lips.
Repeats, it doesn't go down for some reason.
Since 96, been looking for a grown woman. A grown woman.
That's cool.
A grown woman. Been looking for a grown woman. I've been looking for a grown woman.
Okay, this is going to be another one of those tough ones to dissect. I'm going to do my best here, but I'm kind of confused on this one. First off, the Spotify lyrics, I'm sorry about that. I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but there was more lyrics, but it just didn't show up. But it sounded like she was just repeating herself, going into a different verse. Anyway, the song appears to be an acronym. It's GRWM, and I don't think we have any clues in this song as to what that means, you know, what it stands for. If you know, let me know, but I'm not sure. The song starts off here in another sexual experience that I'm not sure if she's happy with. For an album that does seem to be, to a degree, sexually driven so far, you know, there's a certain essence of sexuality to this. It appears her experiences having sex don't seem to be all that positive, or she's at least struggling with some aspect of it. For instance, starting off here, soap washing him off my chest. That's not necessarily a bad thing. She's not talking about like good moments together, cuddling, the feeling she had, ecstasy, any of that stuff. I guess maybe a little bit in What Was That, but even that was just like so much mania. As we move on, a common motif that is repeated here is a grown woman in a baby tee, a grown woman. And this, you know, I was just thinking about this, and, you know, because it's repeated so many times. And at first I'm thinking maybe this is who she wants to be. She wants to be this new, mature, you know, version of herself, you know, but she wants to embrace things like her childhood and look back at it, since she's talking so much about family dynamics here. I don't know if I believe that, though. I feel like maybe this could be a commentary on societal pressures of her to be this young, pretty little thing in this tight t-shirt to sell something, and about her not taking it too serious, and her looking at herself and almost being self-critical for doing this, because she's like, well, here I am. I'm just this grown woman in a baby t-shirt. So that can be taken two different ways. I tend to believe the latter because her expression on it is said with a little bit of disdain, like she's almost like disappointed in herself in that way. She moves on to talk about herself and about just what she is. You know, she's got wide hips. Her tooth is chipped. That sucks. She's born in 96. All right, so she's still pretty young, you know, 96 is still young to me. And she just gives some physical attributes here about what she sees herself, you know, but she just sees herself as this scarred person, this person that's been through some shit, that's a grown-ass woman just wearing this baby shirt. And the big question is, why? Is it because she's embracing her inner child and she doesn't want to let this essence of herself go? Or is she striking criticism onto societal pressures? And then we move on to this line over here, my mama's trauma, which I believe vindicates me for what I was saying for the last song, where I was talking about generational trauma and what that was kind of leading to, and possibly fertility or just some sort of family dynamic with some sort of issue happening there. And as we get towards the end of the song here, or at least where the Spotify lyrics stop, I get confused. I'm not exactly sure what this section of the song means. Pink Galaxy left undressed. 2000 me'd be so impressed. I don't know what a pink galaxy is. I'm just imagining her, you know, in 2009 being impressed by a pink galaxy. What a pink galaxy is, I have no fucking clue. And then we're left on that motif that I was talking about earlier, but we have this little telling line here. But again, it is delivered with a little bit of disdain. Maybe you'll finally know who you want to be, a grown woman in a baby tee. So I think she's working with the idea of rebirth and reinventing herself and trying to grow, you know, from her past experiences. And maybe this is just some sort of like therapeutic way to let go of those demons, those spirits that were in her head, and move on from it. But she still just sees herself as like this adult with this attachment of child to her. Whether that's a positive or negative thing, I guess we'll find out.
Mystique is dead. Last year was bad. I let myself get sucked in by arithmetic. Felt great to strip, new waist to hip. I hate to admit just how much I paid for it. Did I cry myself to sleep about that? Cheat about that? Rot teeth about that?
Oh shit.
Did I sweat hours a week about that? Compete about that? Lose my freak about that? All of the above. I wanna punch the mirror to make her see that this won't last. It might be months of bad luck, but what if it's just broken glass? Spent my summer getting lost in math, making way took all I had. Won't outrun it if you don't hit back. It's just broken glass. I'm scared to quit, loosen my grip. It's tough to admit just how much I get from it. When I cry myself to sleep about that, cheat about that, getting too deep about that. When I sweat hours a week about that, compete about that. that, letting her treat me like that. I think that it's love. I wanna punch the mirror to make her see that this won't last. It might be months of bad luck, but what if it's just broken glass? Spent my summer getting lost in math, making way took all I had. Won't outrun it if you don't hit back. It's just broken glass. Keep the faith. Broken glass. Same mistakes. Broken glass. Just a face. Broken glass. Just a face. I wanna punch the mirror to make her see that this won't last. It might be months of bad luck, but what if it's just broken glass? Spent my summer getting lost in math, making way takes all you have. Won't outrun it if you don't hit back. It's just broken glass.
All right, Broken Glass. This one is much easier to decipher. I'm sure we're all thinking the same thing, but I was a little confused here at the beginning because she talked about being sucked in by arithmetic, and I'm like, is Lorde just really into math? But as the song continued, I think we all know exactly where it's going. Lorde is having some issues with body positivity and is probably struggling with some sort of eating disorder. And it's outlined here in the lyrics with her rotting her teeth and, just her violence with a mirror in her own image. Man, eating disorders, man, I've known so many people, so many girls that have had trouble with eating disorders, and I've never had an issue. I eat so many cheeseburgers all the time, every day. It's, to me, like, these girls have always been very attractive, but still something inside of their brain says like they're not good enough, or they need to be better, or they need to like do these things that are so destructive to their psyche and their body. I wish, and I know there's no way to do it, but I wish you could just like shake people and be like, you're perfectly fine. Everything is, you're perfect the way you are. You don't need to do anything extra. A lot of these girls that I know firsthand are, beautiful inside and out. They're just really good people. And just to know that they're struggling with this inner conflict, that it's like causing them so much pain and like literally starving themselves. Like it makes me so sad. It makes me so sad for them. I wish there was just like something you could do. And it's sad to think about. It's sad to think about people that you care about that are dealing with this sort of thing. We're all just fucking shells, man. My Nana described it to me really well when I was younger. There was a death in the family, like a family friend when I was younger, somebody that I wasn't too close with, but I knew of as a family friend. And I remember my Nana driving us to the funeral, and I was young enough where like I was still a little confused as to what happened. I'm like, we're not going to see this person again. What does that mean? And she had this glove in her car, and she's like, well, people are kind of like gloves. And she pulled the glove off the dashboard, and she's like, right now this glove is just a glove. It's just sitting there. It's not doing anything. It's just it's just matter right there. She's like, but if I put my hand in it, it becomes alive and it moves around, and it's it really gives it life. But when I take my hand out of the glove is just still a glove. It's just sitting there waiting to be used. But my hand is still here. And she basically explained like what a soul is in the body. And that is who we are. We're the hand. We're never the glove. The glove is just the shell that we're wearing. And I thought it was such a cool metaphor when I was younger. It really explained like life and death. And that's how I've always looked at people, At the end of the day, that's not you. That's just a part of you. That's just the glove, man. It's not you. Who are you? What are you thinking about? What's going on in that head of yours? What are your hopes? What are your dreams? What scares you? What excites you? The whole situation is sad, and it pains me to know that Lorde was dealing with this as well. And I think she orchestrated the struggle and the feeling of it pretty well in this song. Broken Glass. I love it, but I also kind of hate it.
In the city, I hear the voices of the ancients. They're calling for us. Hear their horses running up Prince Street. 'Cause I'm a mystic. I swim in waters that would drown so many other bitches. Got me lifted, feeling so gifted. In the gym, I'm exercising all my demons, make them keep riding. Yesterday, I lifted your body weight. I Pick a song and listen to it till it's just a piece of music, and everything else falls away. Ha ha ha. Baby, whenever you break me, I'd watch it happen like an angel looking down. Yeah, baby, a woman being hurt like that, I could feel, don't need fantasy. Oh God, if she could see me now. Hope you find another starlet, another camera, another red carpet. As for me, I'm going back to the clay. You can tell them I went crazy. If that's what this is, then I guess I'll take it. Up in the pain, not the synthesizer. The bodies move like the spirits inside. Baby, whenever you break me,
That's a great line.
I'd watch it happen like an angel looking down.
Oh, this lyrics stop again. I'm sorry.
A woman being hurt like that, I could feel, don't need fantasy. Oh God, if she could see me now. 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 Oh God. Oh God.
All right, that was cool. If she could see me now. And you might think, hey, this is about revenge here. She's talking about overcoming some kind of obstacle and breaking through, and the people that like doubted her or like did something bad to her could see her now because she's excelling. But I don't think that's what that is. I don't think that's what she's saying at all. I think what she's talking about is if her younger self could see who she is right now and all of the things that she's been through, all of the hurt, all of the scars, all of the bruises and everything has led her to where she is right now. And she's embracing those demons. She's embracing this ride and she's pushing through. She's pushing through with exercising and seeing some cycles and trying to break away from them. It's actually pretty positive. Sounds a little bit vindictive, but it's really not. It's sweet. And her vocals were so soulful on this one. I'm sorry, I haven't really been focusing too much on her vocals because it's been a lot of modulation and a lot of weird breathy tones and everything, but she does have these moments of beauty that really come out that just like, it's so warm and it's so beautiful. She can be so sharp and she can have so much like distortion or phase or something like that in her voice where it's like, okay, I get what you're doing. You're following the synthesized music, as she calls it. But like when she has those moments, like those beautiful, warm moments of organic beauty. It's such a beautiful contrast. It's awesome. Yeah, even over here, another camera, another red carpet. As for me, I'm going back to the clay. I love that line. I think this is her saying it's going to be another situation like I've been in before, being on red carpets and cameras and things that I'm used to from my early success and everything. But to her, she's taking a step back and she's going to go back to her beginnings. I'm not sure exactly what the clay means. Yeah, I guess that's what it means. So going back to the clay, she's going back to the drawing boards as if like she's not talking about music, but she's talking about music as a sculpture and sculpting it into something else, into more reinventing herself and more into almost like rebirthing herself into a new person and really embracing it. And she doesn't care. She's like, you can tell them I went crazy. I'm going back to this. I'm starting over. I'm doing my own thing. I'm taking a hold of my life. And I'm going to be what I'm going to be. I'm going to embrace all of the pain, all of the bruises, all of the scratches. I'm going to embrace these wide hips, these chipped teeth, all these things that have made me me. There's so much points on this album where it feels like, why would you do that? Why would you muddy that sound? Why would you make that purposely, wow, unradio friendly? Why couldn't you just give us a little more harmony? Fucking throw a little bit of chorus on that. I know you know how to do it. You're layering your voices in a way that like it's raw and it's like it's profound in that area that it's like raw and it feels like incredibly intimate, but it's definitely difficult to digest. And I think it's all by design. I don't think she really cares about that. I don't think this is going to be one of those albums of I'm here for the awards. I'm here for the cameras. I'm here for the red carpets. I think this is, no, I'm starting over. I'm going back to the clay. I'm reinventing myself and I'm going to sculpt myself into what I want to be. and not be fooled by some things that maybe have fooled me before, whether that comes to sexuality, whether that comes to body issues, family issues. In a way, it feels kind of invigorating. Like, it feels like a sense of freedom is like laced through this entire album. Like, she's embracing those things in her past, but she's not carrying them. You know what I mean? Like, they're with her, but they're not drowning her. It's kind of cool to see. So I think we're like into like a completely different era of Lorde here, where she knows she's not going to win awards. She's recognizing her past, but she's blooming into something completely different.
Oh, dark day, was I just someone to dominate? Worthy opponent, flint to my blade, now we're playing with shadows. At the sunset tower, you said open your mouth, I did. And what came spilling out that day was the truth. If I'd had virginity, I would have given that too. Why do we run to the ones we do? I don't belong to anyone. Oh, dark day, was I just young blood to get on tape? 'Cause you dialed me out when it got hard. Uppercut to the throat, I was off guard. Pure heroin mistaken for featherweight. But what came spilling out that day was the truth. And once I could sing again, I swore I'd never let myself sing again for you. Sing it. So why do we run to the ones we do? I don't belong to anyone.
Chills, dude.
I made you God 'cause it was all that I knew how to do.
Oh my fucking God. She's making sure none of this is digestible or audible. God damn it, Lorde. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with a little, I'm fine. I'm totally fine. Not that it ruins it, but she's ruining it.
And once I could sing again, I swore I'd never let myself sing again for you. Sing it. So why do we run to the ones we do? I don't belong to anyone. I made you God 'cause it was all that I knew how to do.
It's like an audible watermark.
But I don't belong to anyone. Am I ever gonna love again? Am I ever gonna love again? Am I ever gonna love again? Ooh. Am I ever gonna love again? Will you ever feel like a friend? Am I ever gonna love again? Till you understand. Tell it to him.
This is such an intriguing track, and I think easily this, if I had to pick one track on the album that is my absolute favorite, it is this one, even though I'm saying she's ruining it, because the reason she's ruining it by my standards for what I think this is, I think is the biggest power move I've ever seen. I think at first this was, I was assuming it was sexual in nature because there's so many sexual undertones to this album, but that's not what this is about. I think this is about her experience being young and in the industry and taking advantage of. The song is titled David, by the way, so I don't know who the hell that is. Maybe he's a manager or producer, somebody working for the label or something that was trying to guide her in some sort of way. And in the beginning, she's talking about like what she would have done for this success, what she would have done to get to this point. She would have given everything just to get where she's at. And now she's like sitting back and she's like, well, what the fuck? What the fuck? What did it get me? Where did it get me here? Because now I feel lost in this sense of self. And I think that's kind of the thesis of this album, is finding self and accepting self and growth through that. The main motif to me is this one right over here. Why do we run to the ones that we do? Again, this is all in hindsight here. This whole album, for the most part, feels like it's all about in hindsight. It's about her in her past and accepting or moving on or embracing all of those things. But her wondering, like, why do we gravitate towards the ones that we do? I don't think any of us have the answer. I think it's just at that point in our lives, we get fixated on certain things and we don't even know, and we're only left with hindsight and looking back being like, what the fuck, what was I doing there? But we've all been there. We've all had that moment of clarity being like, what the fuck was happening? How did I get trapped? How did I get in this cycle? And we all do it. So down over here is where it gets telling, where I think she's talking about her being a young woman in the music industry, and that in itself must be fucking horrifying. I know what it's like to be a young man in the music industry, and I've got some friends that are girls that have been doing it for a while and they've had some success and they've shared some horror stories with me, but I've at least got a sneak peek from the perspective of women, and it's a lot more disturbing than it is for men. I'll just tell you that. Was I just young blood to get on tape? Lorde to me has always been an artist that has focused on the art first. She writes beautiful music and she can have beautiful harmonies and be very soulful. But I think the lyrics with Lorde has always been something that has kind of come first. It's been the thing that I've appreciated the most, hence why I'm focusing more on that in this album reaction. And she's looking back at her career and she's looking back at her albums and everything. And she's like, was this just a gimmick? Was I just in the right timeline for this? You know, was this just a trending topic at the time? And then I got pushed to the front. Was it all just about getting this out and getting paid and you know, doing the cycle of turning and burning? Because you dimed me out when it got so hard. So apparently she was dropped by this person, this David person. So maybe management or labels or who knows. It could have been a million people in the industry. Uppercut to the throat. I was off guard. Okay. Yeah. Well, this is the thing. This is the folly. You know, this is what happens. You know, they suck you in a way where they're like, everything you're doing is great. You're going to be fantastic. We're going to make sure you're all set up. You know, the next thing is going to be great. You got a whole career ahead of you. And they like pump you up and like get you like really excited to create, because in their world, they just want you to create that one thing for them. And they're promising, you know, a whole long career, and they're going to be your ride or die, and they're going to be beside you the entire time. And you're going to go through thick and thin with that person. But in reality, most of people like management and things like that, unless you're with them for a long time, they can kind of turn and burn you. And that's just such a common story in the music industry. And it's kind of hard to see, because when you're left with nothing, when it's all done and it's over, when the new bright, pretty thing has come out, when the new trending topic has changed, when all of that moves to the side, you're just left there to like in the sidelines. You're like, well, where the fuck did you go? Well, oh, we're not doing stuff anymore. What about our grand vision that we had? What about all that stuff? And then you realize, oh, all that was to get me to sign something. All that was to get, you know, you rights to this. And that's a whole different conversation. And then you're just kind of like left there. You're like, oh, well, what the fuck? It was just for that. You just needed to get a young person that was on tape, that was moving in some trending direction so you could fucking cash out. And the reality of the music industry is most of it is revolved around that principle. And this is where the most badass part in the album comes up, because everything up until this point, sonically, vocally, everything is led to believe that it's going to be the single. It's going to be the standout of the album. It's going to be the one you're going to hear on the radio, and it's going to have some solid, you know, playtime and everything. But then she stutters everything the fuck out. It dissolves. It disintegrates, being like, I swore I'd never do it for you. Which leads me to believe that this David person might still be tied to the label that she's involved with, or somehow involved in her production in one way, shape, or form. Maybe not a hands-on role, but still like in the sphere. It's like she's sculpted this beautiful, this person, and she was just working on the fine details, and then she just ripped its fucking head off and pushed it down. I like the abrasion. I think it's cool as fuck as it is. It's very Nine Inch Nails-esque, and I dig that kind of thing. In the world of like a producer, in the world of like a manager, in the world of somebody working in A&R that wants to get some airplay and show some beauty behind this album, some things that people recognize from some of her previous works, that is the nail in the coffin. That's not going to play. That's not going to work, because when you have something that stutters like that, that is just going to kill anything. You can't listen to that in your car. You're going to think it's fucking breaking down. You're going to think it's going to think the windows are doing something. You can't be that abrasive. And it's such a deliberate move. And I think it still ties together and it's still beautiful. But that 8-12 seconds there that we get of that distortion, that panning, that little drive right there just ruins the entire thing of this being some sort of beautiful ballad that could have some longevity in what normal pop circles would be. I can imagine this one might not be people's favorite for that part alone. For that part alone, it is my favorite, but everything outside of that is also beautiful as well. This is some of the best Lorde has sounded on this album. The layering is fantastic. It's soulful. It's beautiful. It's angelic. The whole thing is ethereal. The sound design is masterfully executed, except for that part, which is my favorite part. Like, it's great, man. It's badass. It's a great closing chapter to this whole thing. And like, this is one of those rare instances where the album is done and I'm more excited for the next album. I'm more excited for the next album because like, where the fuck is she going to go from here? She's already decided to re-sculpt herself. She's already decided to absorb her past, understand her past, but not let it weigh her down. She's moving to a different beat here. She's not concerned with the red carpets, the lights, any of that stuff anymore. She's going to do her own thing. Like, she's embracing the true aesthetic and the true like mindset of what a starving artist is. It's crazy, man. To me, it sounds like this is something that she's probably wanted to do for a while, but she's been too afraid or she's been too wrapped up in contracts or whatever. And I have no idea what her whole contract situation, the music side of her art is right now. I just know her earlier work. And seeing this right now, this is a big fuck you to the industry, a big power move for embracing self. And it's pretty poignant as well. And it's like, it's autobiographical in a way where she's telling her story as it is right now and not really giving too much negative thoughts to the bad things that have happened about her. She explains them and she embraces them, but there's no like, she doesn't condemn people for it, except for this last song right here, you know? There's no real like, oh, this was a bad person or whatever. This is a bad situation that happened and maybe they did something sketchy, but there's no like damnation effect to all this. We're like scorching the earth. It's kind of hard to explain, you know? It feels like this album truly embraces the gray, you know? It embraces the honesty of what the gray is. And that's just fucking life, you know? We live in the gray, you know, and everything is not black and white. We're right there in the gray. We're confused by the decisions we make. We carry them with us, but whether we let them weigh us down or not is another decision altogether. And I'm really excited to see how this also reads live as well. I don't know if she's performed this album yet, but I'm assuming since this album just dropped, we're going to have a tour or something, and I'll be checking out those live videos as well. Sonically, it's cool. Sonically, I think it's got a great contrast between mostly electronic, mostly mechanical sounds and everything. There are some very minute and very minimal organic details, but I feel like it's added enough to add just that nice weight of beauty to it. You know, it's not too much. It's not too orchestrated. It's simply produced and the production on it is very minimal for the most part. It's manic to a degree. It's exciting and it's filled with tension. All right. That is Lorde's version. I got to say, I'm impressed, but I'm more excited for what is coming next. I can't wait. Anyway, guys, that is my time for today. Hopefully you enjoyed hanging out and I'll see you on the next one. Bye now.